Good afternoon, my fellow vagabonds and travellers of the old ways. I'm here again in the shed, and this is a brand new series of poems which are going to become known as the Poems from the Shed of Eternal Damnation. And here we go, here's the first one. And I'm reading it in this lovely book which somebody kindly gifted me. A book of shadows, which has now become a book of grey wolf poetry. So here we go. This poem is about the system in which we live here in the UK and the ever-growing gulf between the rich and the poor, and the couldn't care less attitude of the monarchy and the government. And it's something which has been on my mind for quite a few years. And this is what I've written today. The system. Grim-faced people going to work. Jobs they don't want, conditions they hate. Management grow ever richer by the year, rejoicing in the misery of others. The terms and conditions of employment is in their terms. Workers have no rights, just the prospect of more work to do, with longer hours to keep those bosses happy. Just a number, a pawn in a sick game. Retirement age being increased, while the unemployed are forced to look for non-existent jobs or face sanctions from the bullying DWP. Forced to exist on a pittance, while the rich continue to grow richer. People mean nothing, just fodder for the machine, to keep the wheels turning, to supply the parasites. The parasites of monarchy and government, bleeding us dry each day, living in opulence while we live in poverty. No hope, no future, no chance. Bosses employing those just smart enough to keep the wheels of the machine turning and fill in the pointless reams of paperwork, but just dumb enough never to question why. Crippling housing costs, rising fuel bills, the taxman taking massive amounts of money, prescription charges at almost £10 per item. People can no longer afford to be ill. Statutory sick pay pushing people further into poverty. Dental treatment, too expensive. Hospital waiting lists grow longer. The poor dying in their thousands, yet nobody cares. While the rich get private treatment. No waiting list for them, just a welcome. They are like a disease, a plague to the poor. But let's be honest, we mean nothing to them. Towns and cities falling into decay and depression, just like their inhabitants with no hopes left. Suicide and depression is rife among the poor. Just another statistic written in a book. While the monarchy live in their palaces, the government live in their mansions. all of the blood of the innocent on their hands. But there are plenty to replace us in their eyes. But we are far more in number than they. One day the worm will turn and revolt. Their riches will be stripped away from them and returned to its true owners. It is time that we all stuck together against them and their bullying tactics. It is time to declare enough is enough and remove them from their seats of privilege. Remember this: if we do not turn up, they cannot play their game. It is time for a new game to begin, a game where the poor create the rules. Know this, my brothers and sisters, for each of us who are having a nighttime experience, that the morning is coming and the sun will rise as we reclaim what is ours and we rage against the machine. Namaste, and thank you so much for listening.